Okay. So we have here the Page of Swords, communication, and the Page of Cups. I usually think of this card as like wanting to make an apology. Okay. I feel like somebody wants to kind of speak up. Somebody wants to say, I'm sorry. Somebody wants to reach out. Somebody wants to like extend an offer of friendship. Like, hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? You know, what have you been up to? Catching up over tea, over coffee, wanting to make some type of a an emotional reconnection. Okay. And then it's like testing the waters and then see where things go. So it's like wanting to, pick up that phone and dial that person's number and just be like, hey, remember me? I know it's been a really long time, but I was just thinking about you and, what are you up to? And then from there, see where the conversation leads. And then from there, if the interests are still stirred up from their side or from your side, then, take it from there. So because of that, I feel like this is a very shy, 1 foot in, 1 foot out the door, bashful, type of an energy. And so it leads me to think that you might be looking at somebody that you sort of like, but you're not really, like, you don't know everything there is to know about the other person, so you're not sure. Okay. And then the person that you might be dealing with this Page of Swords energy, this is somebody who's also looking at you. And I feel like you're dealing with somebody who has a little bit more fire under their belt. They're a little bit more bold, a little bit more like direct. And I feel like if you're coming across as very shy, very reserved, hesitant, and kind of indecisive, then they're looking at you as if you might not want to be with them. You might not, hold them up on a pedestal. You might not, it's almost like they're misinterpreting your nonverbal communication as disinterest. Whereas you're trepidatious and you're shy and you're hesitant about making an offer because you kind of need a little bit more encouragement. So that's what I'm sensing. And once again, this energy can be flipped, but I do feel because all the water energy that's showing up in your spread, I do feel that there's a shyness about you that I have never seen in all the other months that I've done readings for you. So I feel like there's a situation here where, it has I'm looking at the crown. Okay. It's a flower. So I feel almost like it has the potential to be a budding, blossoming relationship. It never got off the ground. And there's time and there's room and there's definitely an interest from both parties to make this this connection thrive, to reconnect. But I feel like both parties are on guard, both parties are hesitant, and both parties are not able to understand each other. I keep seeing this mirroring energy. What happened in the past was this. We have the moon, and then we have the 5 of Pentacles. Basically, the moon indicates to me a situation where there's a lot of confusion, okay? It's like, what exactly happened? Why did we stop talking? Why did we have a falling out? And, try as you may, you might not even remember how things descended into chaos, okay? How things fell apart. Or I feel like there was a lot of confusion between, what the other person said and how you interpreted things. What you said and how they interpreted things. There was also a lot of confusion regarding like, how do they feel about me? Why are they behaving this way? And so, the mirroring effect, the moon is all about murky emotions, okay? It's very, very unclear. And I'm drawn to the clouds here in the background. And what I see is murky water, okay? Murky emotions. A lot of hesitation and reservation from both parties, okay? And I feel, it feels to me like one person might have gotten out of like a really serious relationship and was just only dating, and then they weren't like 100% invested. And so the relationship, it was like it was never treated properly. It was never valued. So it could be like a rebound type of a situation where someone got out of a very significant relationship. They weren't ready to date, but they were just looking to have fun. And so I feel like expectations were not clearly discussed between you and another person. And then the next day, no, like the day after, nobody called to follow up. And so it's one of those things where it's like in the back of your mind, you meant to do it. You meant to call, you meant to get in touch. But time has a way of slipping away when we're busy with life. Okay. So I feel like it was one of those situations. And then I also feel like the other person felt very used, felt very left out in the cold. Five of Pentacles, okay? Lack of refuge, lack of support, just felt like very undervalued. And so I feel here there was a situation where one person feels like the other person did something. One person felt left out in the cold by another person. And I just feel like things were taken out of context. Things were misunderstood. And this was a situation where a simple phone call, a simple letter, a simple text message, a simple apology, something very, very simple could resolve a lot of that misunderstanding. But for whatever reason, you or the other person just never have the time. Okay. It's not about, and I honestly feel like the two of you were very, very busy, were possibly, busy with a lot of responsibilities, with family, with children, with life in general, and just busy with a lot of important events. And so no one actually made the time to really have this conversation, to send that text, to write that letter, to smooth things out. And so I feel like there's an opportunity coming back around, coming back into the picture so that these things can be fixed. Because I do see you gazing at the past and wondering, I wonder what so-and-so is doing. And then I also feel like they were very, very, very interested in you. I feel like they've turned a little bit cold based on whatever situation transpired between the two of you. Okay. And then when this card came out, the Five of Pentacles, it's basically it's like a full warning. Okay. In life, we can never apologize enough. Okay. And I feel like most people don't agree with that. Okay. Like only apologize when you're wrong. But I feel like there are so many people that offend others without meaning to. And, if we, there are so many situations where we commit like social faux pas, where we do things or say things or take things out of context, or even say things without thinking about who our audience is. And in the process, we're unintentionally offending a lot of people. So I definitely feel like an apology, if it is sincere, it's never belated, and it's never like too late, and it's never, it's like, let's not be stingy with apologies if we feel like we did something wrong. If there's like even a little bit, a tinge, an ounce of maybe I messed up, then it's really important to offer that apology. Because I feel like, I do see there's a situation here where somebody feels left out in the cold. Somebody felt neglected. Somebody felt like used. Okay. And so if you're dealing with a situation like this, Leos, definitely by all means, reach out, because I definitely feel that as when we progress into the month of November, the early part of the month, things are very, very welcome, possibly like the first week, okay? The apology is very welcome. The contact is very welcome. The communication is very, very welcome. So I just feel like this connection, this communication, whatever it is, the wanting to revive it, wanting to make sense of it, wanting to smooth it out, it's very, very welcomed, especially for the very first week of November. As we progress through the latter half, I do sense that there's a situation here where it's like the deed has been done, okay? And that's when we head into this Five of Pentacles and the Tower energy. And the Five of Pentacles, once again, feeling left out in the cold. There is a situation that's broken. It's like a broken plate, right? I'm drawn to that poem. It's like a children's book. The author did The Giving Tree, and then there's he also has like a collection of poems and illustrations. And one of the poems that jumped out or came to mind was the one where the kid didn't want to do the dishes, and then he says that if you don't want to do the dishes, then pretend that you're breaking them, that you drop them, you have butterfingers, and then if you keep dropping them and breaking them, then your parents won't make you do the dishes anymore. That's what it feels like to me. It's like a broken dish, okay? It's like, I feel almost like intentionally showing or displaying a behavior that you're not good at something, just to avoid having that responsibility put on you. Okay, so like, oh, I don't want to do the dishes. I'm going to break all the plates so that my parents think I'm bad at doing dishes and they will never assign me that responsibility. Okay, I'm not very good with money, so I'm just going to spend here and there, and then, just tell people I'm bad with money so that I will never have to manage resources. Okay, or like, I'm not good at being a relationship partner, so I'm going to go around breaking everybody's hearts just so that I can maintain that reputation that I'm not, I'm not going to fall for anybody. So I definitely feel like somebody has a really tough exterior, and they do things that they don't mean. They say things that they don't mean, and they don't realize that they're hurting the people that really care about them. So I feel like there's definitely that energy coming through. It could be coming from their end or your end. And then we have the Tower as well. Both of these things are broken, okay? Broken sand dollar, the Tower, a fracture in a foundation, okay? It's sinking into this body of water, and it's also exhibiting symptoms that not only is it sinking, it's kind of leaning to the side. So it's like crashing and breaking. Okay, so I feel like there is a situation here where this behavior might permeate through other areas of your life, not just, only in the love relationship department. It might drive away the people that you care about, family, children, friends, colleagues. So I feel like there definitely is some damage control, okay? I also feel like you're dealing with somebody who is like not very comfortable in the realm of emotions, okay? And what I have with this card is I do have Cancer, I do have Aquarius, I do have all the signs, Cancer, Aquarius, Scorpio even. You might be dealing with somebody who's really uncomfortable with expressing how they feel, with public display of affection, with even expressing, vulnerability, expressing tenderness, expressing how much they need you. Okay, so I feel like they might, rather than saying, hey, I really like you to stay, the minute you're like, oh, I need to go home, I have to work tomorrow. The minute you get up to go, they're just like, why are you leaving me? So it's like they might have some abandonment issues. And so whenever they express, they don't know how to express emotions in a healthy way. They don't know how to say like, oh, I'd really like for you to stay. It would mean a lot for me if you stayed. rather than saying that, they kind of lash out and they're like, oh, you're leaving me already. So I feel like it's somebody who's very, very defensive. And, it can be very difficult dealing with people who are very defensive. And defensive people, even when you come at them with like love and affection, they always perceive it as an attack for whatever reason. And so when you're dealing with people who are very defensive, whether or not you know it, it is always safer to over-explain, okay? It's always safer to say, I have to go because I have to wake up really, really early tomorrow, rather than just saying like, oh, I gotta go. I just need to go. So I feel like there's a situation here where over-explaining might actually be in your best interest, because I feel like there's communication that's not getting through between you and another person. And I mean, on an everyday level, miscommunication is very annoying, but more so in November, because we have a Mercury retrograde where communication is going to break down. Communication is going to go awry. So in order to be preemptively productive with our communication, it's just so much safer to over-explain. Okay, it's so much safer. So when you text that line that, I have to go at this certain amount of time or at this specific time, you might want to put in because I have to, wake up early tomorrow, or I have to do this work project and I have to submit it tomorrow. So I feel like, providing a little bit more context when we communicate, it might actually resolve a lot of potential crises that might, inadvertently creep up during the month of November. And so erring on the side of over-explaining rather than under-explaining or brushing things off, or the working under the assumption that, oh, the other person should know what I'm talking about or should know what I mean. I feel like we can't really take it for granted this month, okay? A lot of the signs had the Tower card for this month. And so I feel there's definitely a major shakeup in significant relationships for many signs across the board, not just you, Leos. But I do feel for you, there's definitely a lot of redemption here, because the cards that are coming through are very, very positive, okay? There's a lot of like transformative potential as it relates to, a significant relationship in your life, a significant other, a very important person that you might have been estranged from. Somebody might have felt left out, and, and the other person might not have any idea as to what they did, how their actions affected the other person. Sorry, I have to take a sip of water. So what I feel here with this Tower, it's like there's definitely a situation where somebody felt left out in the cold. They felt neglected. They felt used and thrown out. Okay, so keep in mind, this is a perception. This is it's not something that you did, or it's not something the other person did intentionally, but somebody felt like they were used and left out in the cold. And once they embody that energy, oh, that person used me, they kind of perceive all future communication from that person as, oh, they're coming back because they want to use and abuse me again. So they get very defensive. They might become a little bit antagonistic, and that is why, if this reading resonates with you early on, I would urge you to try to fix things, okay? Don't let things escalate. Err on the side of over-explaining. Err on the side of sending that extra long text if you need to, in order to appease, or in order to kind of like, we're not here to appease anybody, but I do feel like just for the sake of, just for the respect of the human interaction, it's really important to explain and be clear about our intention. Okay. I can't go to the park with you today because, I have this last minute work project I need to work on. I know we made plans to go to the movies, but I can't today because, it's rainy and, I totaled my car, whatever the situation is. Um, Err on the side of, giving the other person full information, okay? To avoid miscommunication, to avoid this type of situation from escalating. And I definitely feel like this is not just a relationship advice. This is more like in all of your interpersonal dealings and interpersonal communication, because I just feel like, that letter shuffle back and forth. Letters mean news, messages, important communication, okay? Official communication, information that is really, really important because somebody took the time to write it down, put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, go to the post office to send out this thing. Somebody took the time to do it. So just out of respect for that person and the time. And then you see this letter get shuffled back and forth around, and then the communication or the message never got to the other person and it was returned to sender. So that's why I feel like there's communication here and contact, but it never went through, okay? I feel as well somebody might be trying to get a hold of you, might have been trying to reach you while you were sleeping. That message came up really strongly. It's a sleeping doe, okay? So it's like while you were sleeping, some key important messages came into the picture. And I feel like, if you felt left out, if you felt like the other person never cared about me, they never reached out, they never inquired as to how I was doing. And then, you get defensive and then you just like